Welcome to Her Own Boss, the podcast designed to help you find your inner entrepreneur. Her Own Boss is brought to you by recent graduates, Anissa, Lucy, Megan, Ben, Sarah, and me, Nikki, as we enter our careers and speak to the inspiring women who can help us along the way. Hi everyone, this is your host Nikki, and I'm joined again by Vanessa Vallely. Vanessa is a CEO, founder, OBE holder, and one of the most well-networked women in the UK. Vanessa is currently founder and CEO of We Are the City and is here today to tell us about her top tips for starting and growing your network. Having a strong network is the key to any successful career, whether that be as an entrepreneur or as an employee for another company. If you do find this minisode helpful, then be sure to send it to a friend and let us know what you'll be doing to strengthen your network by searching for Her Own Boss Podcast on Instagram or LinkedIn. This is also our final episode of Season 1. We've absolutely loved sharing with you the stories, experiences, and tips of so many great women in business and entrepreneurship. But make sure you're subscribed to us so you'll be the first to hear when we launch Season 2 in October. Enjoy! Hi Vanessa, it's so great to have you back on for a minisode. So you're currently the founder and CEO of We Are the City, which is a massive network of over 120,000 women. And you've also been quoted as being one of the most well-networked women in the UK.
Magazine landed me with that one. One of
them. So I guess on the basis of that, I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on why having a network is so important and also the types of people that you should have in your own network.
I mean, I'm a big fan of people planning. It's something I'm writing about in my new book at the moment, but just sitting down and working out what skills do I need to obtain, who are the people I know that have these skills, I'll demonstrate them. And if there are gaps, that is the first place you want to go in terms of building your network. So the people that you meet along the way are potential mentors, they're potential sponsors. And by sponsors, I mean people that will advocate for you when you're not in the room and open up doors of opportunities for you. So networking is not only good for, and again, I hate to put that name on it because it fills people with fear. Oh, I've got to walk into a room talking to a stranger that I don't know about, I'm not even sure what about. You know, if we can kind of dispel that, this is just having a conversation. But if you think about the people that you talk to, the nuggets of information that you pick up, the pieces of advice, the opportunity to ask questions, you know, so valuable for you as you progress in your careers. And again, keeping those connections. Everyone you meet, say to them, do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn? Do it within 24 hours. Otherwise, it looks like you're a little bit tardy and you've done it a little bit late. Yeah. But every now and then, just touch base with those individuals. Oh, I saw this article and it made me think of you. Or I'm looking for a piece of advice. Even if it's not necessarily something that's a burning piece of advice, it just keeps that relationship alive. I mean, I use LinkedIn all the time. I share other people's content. I ask questions on that. So I've got a constant engagement with my community. And invariably, they're all people that I've met over the years. So even if you're not a natural networker and you find it uncomfortable to walk into that room, go with someone else. Even if you're shy, but you've had a conversation with one person that evening, it's an achievement. You don't have to go to these events for the whole duration of the evening. You could just pop in for an hour. You know, that at least you've gone. Better to do that. So on We Are the City, for example, there's a whole directory of women's networks, entrepreneurial networks, business networks. But again, don't forget your internal networks as well. There's a plethora of people there that can kind of help you in your career later on down the line, especially as you get braver doing it and, you know, have the courage to kind of articulate, this is where I'd like to work one day, this is what I'd like to do. You never know where the seeds that you plant, where they go and how people remember you. So 100%, I'd rather than say get networking, I'd rather say get building relationships and make sure you nurture them for the future.
Yeah, I think that makes it sound a lot less intimidating. And do you think that when you go to these events, or you start speaking to people, whether that's in person or more likely now online, is there something you should have ready to say about yourself, or should you have an ask for them ready, or is it just, you know, treat it as a regular conversation?
I think, you know, always that, you know, the way that I would have a conversation, I've got kind of a gambit, if you like, in my head of how I would explain myself. This is who I am. This is what I do. Kind of this is what I'm passionate about. But a lot of building a relationship is asking them about them, you know, and being prepared to listen and then feeding off of kind of what they're saying. So that piece is just a general conversation. You know, back in the day, there was a lot of talk around this elevator pitch. you still need to have, but I'd like to think of it in a much softer form. Just give me the information, give me something about you that I could ask a question, or listen to the other individual so that you can ask the question, so the conversation flows. I always advise, check the news, look at something relevant and that you can bring into the conversation. Did you see that article today in X newspaper or something? It's just like a bit of an icebreaker and something that can draw you into the conversation. And again, if you're uncomfortable going to networking, go with someone else. Take someone with you, but please don't stay with that individual all evening or anything like that. Make sure that you split up and you meet other people. From a virtual perspective, the world's our oyster at the moment. People are a lot more forgiving in terms of their time, to have chats with people and informal offline. So if there's someone you want to meet, the fact that you're a recent graduate, from a senior perspective, my heart goes out to you anyway. Of course, I want to help you, and a lot of individuals will feel like that, and say, take the risk. Just pop someone an email. I'm a graduate. I could really do with your experience. We'll just go, oh, of course we want to help you. And, we'll respond. And I'd hope to think that a lot of the folk in my senior circles would do the same, and I'm sure they would. So great time for you to build your virtual network, but don't forget, where do we connect with them? How do we keep in touch with them in the future? And for me, the answer to that is LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely. I think LinkedIn's a good one for us as kind of recent graduates trying to build our network as well, because all the information about that person is already there. You can really decide who you want to network with and why you want to network with them. And so you almost don't have to think of the really interesting questions to get the information out. It's all already there. And that's like a really good starting point, I think.
No, always when you connect with someone is to, give them an explanation. People are not stamps, so don't just hit a connect button and think that's going to work, because it needs to be a compelling ask, And again, I think that from you guys' perspective, you're new on the journey, you're eager to learn, and from our perspective, we should be handing the baton over to you guys in terms of your future careers. So yeah, click away, but make sure you put some sort of narrative with it.
Definitely. And do you have any examples in your career, obviously, aside from We Are the City, which is a massive network, where your personal network has helped you progress in your career?
Oh, massively. Even this year, when we had the lockdown, we normally do a huge Women in Tech conference at the end of every year. And this year we decided that we would do it virtual, and we built that in 12 weeks. Normally we work on that schedule for around 6 months. And I could have multiple stages, multiple speakers. So normally we'd have about 50 speakers, but this gave us the opportunity to make it global. So I basically built a global network from my sofa in the living room,
Oh my goodness.
researching people, looking them up, reaching out to them. Would you help us inspire women in tech? Sending those emails, having Zoom calls with everyone. So 100%, it can be done. And again, as I said to you earlier on, I don't think there's ever been a better time to kind of build your network and do stuff virtually. And I've proven that can happen. And even now, looking forward for the rest of the year, the likelihood that we'll go back to face-to-face meetings is highly unlikely. I think, it'd be more likely to be next year. But I'm continuing to connect with people, talk to them online, build that relationship as if I would face-to-face. So 100%, don't make this a missed opportunity for you to build your network.
Yeah, I think those are some really great tips. And I guess it is just about getting the confidence to speak to someone for the first time, which can sometimes be a bit daunting, but I think that the tips you've shared with us will definitely help. So I guess to recap, it's get your people plan together, figure out where there are gaps in your network, or if there's something you're interested in but don't know anyone who can help, and then fill those gaps by going to events or even attending kind of online events or checking out online networks. Then always follow up on LinkedIn and nurture those relationships by keeping in touch. So those are some great tips. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I really hope you guys enjoyed this mini-sode with Vanessa Vallely, and be sure to add us to your network on LinkedIn. You can find us by searching Her Own Boss Podcast. As always, please leave us a review and subscribe to hear the latest on finding your inner entrepreneur. And we can't wait to see you again for season 2 in October.